Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about the difference between manufacturing company and the merchandising company. So basically, for the cheese factory, they are making cheese. This is a manufacturing company, and they have three inventories: raw materials, work in process. Sorry, this is a typo, and the finished goods inventory. And for Superstore, they only have one inventory called the merchandise inventory. Okay, so the cheese, the finished goods, the finished cheese will come to Superstore if this is a supplier, right? And so they only have one inventories, right? They don't, Superstore do not carry 50% completed cheese, right? So Superstore does not have work in progress in process inventory, and they don't have milk for making cheese, right? They don't have raw materials. So their inventory are assets, right? So basically, when you compare the balance sheet, right? So I really want you to pay attention to see the difference, right? So you see the difference for the balance sheet. The current asset is only the inventory. So for merchandising company like Superstore, they have a merchandise inventory. For the cheese factory, this is a manufacturing company, they have three. I want you to pay attention to the order, right? So they listed finished goods above work in process, which is above raw materials. So make sure you stay with this order. This is the correct order. This order is based on liquidity. That means how quickly you can convert that item into cash, right? So you can sell finished goods easier than raw materials, right? So that's the order: finished goods, work in process, and the raw materials. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this order. It's relevant to the assignment. There's one question in the assignment. So the order is for current asset, cash. That's the most liquid item, okay? And the receivable, and then inventory, and then prepaid, okay? So now let's talk about the flow of the product cost. We know the product cost, they are stating in the inventories, right? In the inventories. So how does the product cost flow when the product is transferring from the different inventories? When the cost flow into an inventory, that would increase the value of inventory. When that item is flow out of the inventory, so that will decrease the value of the inventory, okay? So take a look at here. I'm using the T account. So raw materials inventory, if you have materials in, so that will increase the value of the inventory. And then when you use the materials, that materials is out. So that will decrease the inventory. So the raw materials goes to the work in progress. And then you also have the direct labor cost and the manufacturing overhead, right? All this goes into the working in process inventory. And then, okay, certain portion of the items are completed. So this would be the cost of manufacture, right? So these ones will flow to the finished goods, right? Because these are the items are done, right? So they will move from the working in progress. If they are 100% finished, they don't belong to this inventory anymore. The work in process inventory are the incomplete goods, right? So then you move the cost to the finished goods inventory, okay? And then eventually, when you sell these goods, okay, you're gonna remove the cost of the goods sold, and that's part of the cost of goods sold, right? So you see how the product cost flow from raw materials to work in process, and then to finished goods, okay? And then eventually it ends up in the cost of goods sold, okay? So that's the flow. And in my video, and the 3-minute video, you can see, right, it's the same idea, right? So that, you know, how the numbers flow from one to the other, okay? Now, when you compare the financial statement, okay, they are very familiar, they are very similar to each other, okay, except the cost of goods sold section, okay? So in this section, you always start with beginning balance, January 1st. This is called merchandise inventory. And this is the finished goods inventory. So this is the beginning balance. And then you are talking about the increase. Okay, this part is different. So for merchandise inventory, you purchase the goods, right? Where these goods come from? Well, you buy it from the supplier. Or how much it costs you to purchase. Okay. Well, for the manufacturing company, where the goods comes from, well, it comes from the work in process inventory. You manufactured it, right? This is the cost of goods manufactured, right? Where these goods come from? From your work in process inventory. When they're done, 100% completed, that comes from they left that inventory to your finished goods inventory, right? And then your total goods available for sale, you add up these two numbers, and then you minus your ending balance. That's your cost of goods sold. Okay, you can see that exactly the same format. Okay, beginning plus the increase and minus the ending. That's your cost of goods sold. This one is about determining the cost of goods manufactured. Okay, determining the cost of goods sold manufactured. And please see my video. Okay, so in this textbook they give you this method, but I think if you follow using the T account to do the calculation, it's more straightforward. Okay, so make sure you check the videos I posted yesterday. So that teaches you how to calculate cost of goods manufactured and the cost of goods sold. Okay. Okay, now let's review. I want to see if you really understand what we learned. What amount is given by the sum of direct materials, direct labor, manufacturing overhead incurred?
Put the manufacturing costs.
Very good. That's number C, right? Direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. Together, that's your total manufacturing cost. Okay. Next. Which of the following is the correct calculation for cost of goods sold?
D.
Very good.
B.
B.
Dog? You mean dog, right? You mean D, dog. So beginning balance plus cost of goods manufactured minus ending balance. That's your cost of goods sold. Okay.
Is this in a manufacturing? This is in a manufacturing scenario, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Next one. In a manufacturer balance sheet, 3 inventories may be reported: raw materials, work in process, finished goods. In what sequence do this inventory generally appear on a balance sheet?
D.
D?
3, 2, 1.
D is in
3 to
dog.
1.
Good.
B.
Yeah,
B.
very good. Yeah, then you
D.
are
3, 2, 1.
yeah, good job. So you are paying attention.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's take a look at this question. For the current period, prime cost, do you still remember what's prime cost? Incurred by
Yes.
ABC were 195, conversion cost 194, total product cost 270. What were the direct labor, direct material, and the manufacturing overhead, respectively, for the period? So what is the direct labor? Maybe let's do direct material. What's the direct material?
It's a prime cost.
Pardon me?
It's a prime cost.
Yeah. So prime cost, yes. So what is the cost of the direct material?
130.
130.
130. So how did you do that?
You subtract the product cost by the conversion cost.
Very good. Yeah, very good. So you use product cost 270 subtracted by the conversion 140. So that's the 130. Okay. What is the manufacturing overhead cost?
75.
75. How did you do it?
Product cost minus prime cost.
Good job. Good job. So you use product cost minus prime cost. That's your manufacturing overhead. So 270 minus 195. So that would be, is that 85? No, 75. No,
No, 75.
75.
75.
And then what's your direct labor?
$65.
Okay, very good. Very good. So overhead, total minus prime, direct material, total minus conversion, direct labor, prime, minus direct material. Okay? Very good.
I'm sorry, Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
I find this question a little bit tricky because the sum of direct labor and direct material make up the prime cost, and the sum of direct labor and manufacturing overhead make up conversion costs. So how could I have used this information? Because this conversion cost, direct labor is also part of it, right? So how
Yeah.
could I have done this? I'm a little bit confused.
So now we talk about three things, right? Direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. Okay.
Yes,
We
please.
know the two direct, that's the prime, right?
Yes.
And then we know the three together, that's the total product, right?
The product cost, yes.
So the only difference between the product and the prime is the manufacturing overhead. So when you do the difference, you get the manufacturing overhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else have any question?
No.
No? Okay. So this is the end of our lecture, and I'm going to do a problem. I still have 10 minutes, right? So whatever the slides left, there is another 17 slides left. So we are going to do it in September 28th, okay? So we are done for now. So let's work on the problem I sent you before the class. So that's the problem on page 2-45, problem 2.44a. So I'm going to change it to another computer, okay? So just give me 1 second.
Lee, I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
I kind of thought about it after. When we talk about for the balance sheet costs and everything, do we, like, I'm getting confused between like your factory depreciation and your factory machining depreciation. Are those so similar that they go on the, it's just not the scorecard, whether it goes on your income statement or your cost of goods manufactured schedule? Like, I'm having a hard time distinguishing for that question.
Oh, the manufacturing cost all goes to the inventory. It's on the balance sheet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know I was trying to figure things out for the cost of goods manufactured. When you put in your manufacturing overhead, I always get confused with the depreciation of where it goes.
Yeah, yeah. But is that clear right now?
Yeah, it made it clear. Thank you.
Awesome. So I have to switch to a different computer, okay? Can you see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share. So this computer is connected with a document. This one is connected with a document camera. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
We can.
Yeah.
We hear
We
you.
can see you.
Yeah, we can
Hello?
see you. I don't think you can hear us.
Oh, you can hear me?
You gotta mute one of them, one of the computers.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes.
So it's
Oh, there we go.
yeah. Yeah, this is the first time I'm doing this, but now I know how this works. So you can see my camera, right? The document.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, so this is the question, and this is very important because it's relevant to the assignment. Okay, I want to spend some time to talk about this question. So here, okay, you got a lot of informations. Okay, and then the question is about assume in case one, in the current ISI section is follows. Okay, and then the instruction A is indicate the missing amount for each letter. Okay, so you can see that on this column, these two columns, there are some missing numbers, right? So our job is to calculate its missing numbers. Okay, so now let's take a look at here. For this column 1, okay, so we know the direct materials used, direct labor, and the manufacturing overhead. So what is the total manufacturing cost? You know this, right?
You just add them all those together.
Yeah, so you add them all together. So you get 15. What I got is 15,300. That's for A. Okay. And then you have the beginning work in process inventory, 1,000, and ending work in process inventory, B. So I don't know this one. Okay. I know the total manufacturing cost. Okay. So if you remember, if you remember on the video, I show you for the work in process inventory. In that video, you have seen me doing that as at the beginning balance. What is the beginning balance? Can anyone tell me? The beginning work in process inventory is 1,000, right? So that's this one here, 1,000 beginning work in process inventory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we are saying here, we are saying the direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, right? So all this together, we have figured it out, right?
15,000. Yeah. 15,000.
Yeah, 15,300. 15,300. And then we calculate total cost
16,
of work. Yeah, in process.
I also got 16,300 for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the total cost of work in process, right? Yeah. So now I want to know what is my ending balance, ending work in process inventory. So I had to know what is this, right? Does anyone know what is this one? Do you remember?
I got 14,600.
You got 14. How did you calculate it?
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
the cost
14.
of goods manufactured.
Yes, very good. So this one is cost of goods manufactured, right? Okay. So now what is my ending WIP? So this number minus this number, right? What is that? That'll be 1,700. 1,700. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you mind going over it
Yeah.
again, please, Professor?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
For the sake of the time, do you mind just to watch the video? Okay, because it's recorded. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, because I have to. I don't have too much time left. Okay. So that's the 1700, right? So this one, number B, is 1700. Okay. That's the ending. So then you have sales discount, cost of goods manufactured, and then beginning finished inventory. Beginning finished goods inventory. Okay. So I'm going to use another paper here. So now let's take a look at the finished goods inventory. Goods inventory. So I have a beginning balance. This one I don't know, right? But then I have what comes in here. Does anyone know what comes
Cost of
in
goods
here?
manufactured.
Your
Yes.
cost of goods
yeah.
manufactured.
Cost
And
of goods.
that was 14,600.
Good job. Good job. That's awesome. So that's 14,600, right? And so this together, what do you get here? What's this one? Total goods
Cost of goods for sale.
available for sale, right? So do we know this number? We do, right? So goods available for sale. So that's the 18,300. Here, 18,300. So now let's work backward. So this number minus this number. So what's my beginning balance? My beginning balance is 18,300 minus 14,600. So that's gonna be
3,700.
2,700.
17.
27, right? 37.
Yeah.
3700.
37.
37. Yeah. Okay. So this number now, number C here, I know this is the 3,700. Okay. And then cost of goods sold, D, cost of goods sold.
You would just
So
take your
let's-
goods available for sale minus your ending inventory.
Good. So I have an ending balance, right? This ending balance finished goods is, what's my ending? Oh, 1,500, right? So it's 1,500. So now this number, this one deduction has to be 168, I think. 18,800, 16,800, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, so this is my cost of goods sold, okay? So if you are not clear with this, watch my video, okay? There's a reason why I sent you that video ahead of time. So, so are we good with this? 16,800 for D,
Yeah.
800 for D. And E, what's the gross profit? Okay, so what's the gross profit? So do you guys still remember that from the 2,100? So you have sales and you less sales discount. Okay, and then you less cost of goods sold, right? And that would be your gross profit, right? What's your sales? Your sales, 22,500, discount, 1,500, and the cost of goods sold, you just figured it out, right? 16,800. So together, so that's gonna be, let's see, that would be 21. It's
4,200?
21, sorry, 32, right?
42.
42.
Yes,
42.
42. Yeah, that's right. So gross profit is 42. So this one is 42. And last one is the net income. So you have gross profit, and then you have operating expenses, right? So what is that operating expenses? 2,700. So your net income will be 1,500. Okay, 1,500 net income. So is this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you do the assignment, you try to practice do case 2. Okay. You try to practice to do case 2. There's one question. It's 21 points out of the 50 points in the assignment. So that question is very similar to this one. Okay. So make sure you do this question before you try the assignment. Okay. So that's this part. How are we doing this time? Oh, I'm sorry. It's already 3 minutes over. Okay. So I'm going to, so there are still the other one, B and C. So I'm going to just record a video on the other 2 questions, B and C, and I will post it tonight. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Yeah. Class is dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
had one quick question about the assignment.
Professor, you can
Oh,
go
sorry.
first.
Yes. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
was just wondering, is there a time limit on this assignment, like while you're writing it?
There's
I
no
mean,
time
that's a
limit
good-
because I already started. I started it and I just stopped. So I looked
Okay.
into it and there's no time limit.
Oh, no
Okay.
time limit. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that information. Yeah. Oh, I can't. Just give me 1 second, okay? Yeah. I'm back here. So let me stop. Let me stop the